This podcast is part of the Deluxe Edition Network. To find other great shows on the network, head over to deluxeeditionnetwork.com. That's deluxeeditionnetwork.com. Guess who's back? Guess who's back? Guess who's back? Guess who's back?
Wow, how about that new intro, y'all? That was kind of bumping through the speakers, Mark. Woo.
Yes. Got to thank Andy Jasic for that one. He did a good job for us.
I think he knows what the hell he's doing, then.
Yeah, well, he's going to make us a few more just for, some other. We'll have some more.
That was fantastic. Guys, my name is Brian. With me,
I'm
as
Mark.
always, that's Mark. And we're a part of this great network. It's called the Deluxe Edition Network. And over on the network, Mark, there are 2 podcasts of the month. Do you know who they are?
We're going to start off. Yes, brand new month, brand new people. We are going to have it's date. I can speak today. Deep Dark Secret and Barrel Aged Chicks.
Barrel Aged Chicks. Yeah, that's one I actually listened to, Mark. And MFK, that's Murder Fuck Kill. That one is like that series that they do is fantastic.
Oh yes, so. I was listening to that shit, man. They can go crazy on that, especially using their phrase. What was it? What did I tell you it was earlier?
Oh, it's the runs.
Fuck me running.
Fuck me running, or you take the shot. Hey, you got us a new guest tonight.
Yes, I did. I got us Cody Newton. He's a director, and I first found him. Bits and pieces was when I watched Vengeance 2. I noticed his name on there, and then I just started looking him up, and I was like, oh, we should have him on. And guess what? Ta-da!
Mark Facebook stalked you, dude. Did you hear that?
Hey, I don't mind that. I'm on Facebook so that people can stalk me and see what I do.
Dude, that's what I say. I'm like, dude, listen, my tag is Brian Elam 77. If you need to find me, come on down. I'm on Facebook. I'm on, you know what I mean? Come find me. Stalk me. I don't mind. The more followers we get, the better off we are, I think, right?
Yes. Just to let you know, whoever put that, are you serious? You never heard that phrase? No, it's not the phrase that we never heard of. It's what they have to do if they don't say that at the same time as everybody else. They have to take penalty shots. So...
Oh, hey, Peter Anthony, the legend, Cody Newton, he says. Hey, how about that?
Peter's stalking me also. No, I'm just kidding. He's always on. He's always supporting. He's great.
Hey, listen, that's one person I want to stalk us, though, because, I mean, this guy has a reach greater than Montana. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's just like, I know this person. Let's get you in contact.
True. I call him the purest horror fan, because not only is he a collector, but he's doing all this stuff himself. He has all the knowledge. I mean, more than Jason more than anything. But yeah, he's one of my favorites in the horror community.
Yeah, he's one of mine too. Him, Jason, that whole Vengeance cast. I loved their whole cast. It was one of those things. Watching them come together on the screen, and watching how much that they praise each other off of the screen too. It's one of those ones. It's like, wow.
That was Steven's wife that said, yes, have you never seriously heard that phrase?
Yeah, so. I just pulled up Facebook.
Okay.
I don't know why it's not letting people put their names on here.
It's all good. So, Cody, we like to start this show with the one very important question. Mark, what question is that?
How are you doing today?
Oh, man, I'm having a great day. Just so you know, I just booked a few different cast members who you may know for our feature film 259. And I don't know if I'm going to reveal them now or later. I don't know. Should we keep people on?
Well, how about this? What is 259?
Oh, okay. That's a good question. So originally, I worked on Friday the 13th Roseblood with Peter Anthony and Jason Brooks and Sean Lutzis, and then I worked on. I was the director of photography on that film, and then I was director of photography on Vengeance 2 Bloodlines. So hopefully you've seen those. If you haven't, go watch them. I love those films. But after we got done with Roseblood, my first assistant camera, his name is Ryan. He was the B cam on Roseblood. We were driving back. We live in Boise, but we were driving back about 7 hours. And he told me the story about his life in 2011. He lived in Portland, and he had to deal with a neighbor who was being possessed by something. A lot of stuff, weird stuff was happening. And he told me the story, and weird stuff started happening in our car. So I had the GPS going the whole time, and he started to tell me the story. And about 5 minutes in, I could feel the hairs raise on the back of my head, my neck, and my GPS starts to go zoom in and out. It starts going rerouting, and for some reason I got super anxious. I thought somebody was going to run a stop sign. I thought they were going to hit somebody. I thought they were going to hit a deer. It just had like a darkness to it. So he told me the whole story, and it's a phenomenal story. And we had to stop for the bathroom, so we used the bathroom. And I got into the car, and I had time to think about it. And I said, Ryan, and his name's Ryan Race. This story is very marketable. This could be a great horror movie because it's born in truth, but it is something very spectacular. But the other thing I told him is I am a God-fearing and God-loving person. I told him we need to pray. And Ryan is not, he's not a big believer in all that stuff. I think that's why he got into some of this possession stuff, because he was interested almost to coax a demon out or coax these things out. But we said a prayer, and right then all of, the hairs on the back of my neck went away. And it was very interesting, because then we talked about how we would fight a demon. Do you go get crystals, or do you go find someone to exorcise it, or do you find a witch to come in and bless your house? There's so many different ways. And so from there, I felt it was pretty important to tell this story. And that's what 259 is. It's the feature film of that, about a white family and a Mexican family coming together who are being possessed by a demon, and it's passing through those people. And it's told through the kids' eyes. It stars Sanaya Lutzis as Kaylee, the daughter, and my son, Tiago Newton, who's been in a lot of my movies, but he stars as Mason, the son of the Mexican family. So
wow.
That is 259.
So we're gonna get a glimpse into that here in the future, then, because that already made the hairs on the back of my neck stand up just talking about it. Like,
yeah, once we have Ryan actually talking about what he experienced, and it's just the heart of the story is when you're faced with a decision like that, like when something happens to you that's supernatural, for example, where you can't explain it, what do you believe? Like, what are you forced to believe? And that's the heart of the film, and I think that's the heart of the horror, where you have to decide, okay, my dad. This is a scene in the movie, but the dad starts to attack the kids, but he's just not himself. He is something different, and there's something that's taken over him. There is just such a horror to having something so comfortable take over you. We've seen it in The Shining, we've seen it in The Exorcist, we've seen it in those things.
But Amityville.
Yeah, exactly.
Amityville.
That's what I was just thinking. Yeah.
Yeah, that was like right at the beginning of one of their very first movie, wasn't it? Where the dad was like out chopping wood, and then all of a sudden he just like
in the reboot, yes,
spaced out. Okay, yeah.
Right, and if you experience those things, you have to kind of make a decision in your mind. Is there something dark out there that is unworldly, or is there a good side also? I mean, you just have to make those decisions. And it's interesting because there's kind of an allegory for having demons, the demons you carry with you. We all have our demons, whether it be something like domestic abuse or whatever in a child, or whether it be an actual demon. So it's just lots of questions I was super excited to explore, and now we have the script, and people are super excited about it, and we're super excited to make it.
So, are you guys putting that disclaimer on the front of that on the anywhere on that movie
Based on a true story?
based on true events?
Yeah.
Not true story, but true events, because
So most of the stuff, yeah, we would. It probably should be events because it's kind of
Okay.
like The Conjuring, though, where
Yeah.
they take it in a completely different direction and they have their heroes take care of everything. When really in The Conjuring that didn't really happen. It's very much in that vein, though, where the premise is completely based on a true story, but we take it to a different place where it is based on true events because the story's not over. We don't know exactly what is going to happen with, my friend Ryan or with other people involved. So
They should do it in the house that it was done at.
you know what? We thought about that, but we don't want to film in Portland. Portland's a little scary right now.
I'm doing a hard pass at this point because, like, hey, listen, I just want to let you guys know a bunch of people were murdered over here in this house. You want to go film in it?
Why not?
Like that to me, I'm out.
I'm in.
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
in.
I've been tempting fate a little bit. I mean, even just me sitting back and thinking about some of these things, I've just had some weird things happen, and that's the thing you're faced with. Is this a coincidence? Is this because I'm thinking about this so much that I have these feelings of fear, or those types of things? So I don't want to go film in the house where it actually happened.
Pass.
That's understandable.
So we talked. You and I briefly talked while Mark was off screen doing his thing. I think he was.
Mhm.
I was getting, hey, watch it. I was getting water. And
Oh, I was going to say putting the crack pipe away, hiding the crack.
No,
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
No crack
But
pipe.
we,
Florida, we
we
understand.
talked.
No, that's meth, by the way. That's meth, by the way. No
You
crack.
and I had talked briefly. You're not really into horror.
Well, I never was. Like when I first started on the first Vengeance, they invited me on to come be the B camera and the second unit kind of director. So I did a lot of the action stuff. So I was into action films. I wanted to do all kinds of stuff, but I wanted to get as much experience as I could. So I went and worked for weeks on Vengeance 1. And I mean, I got up there and I watched Jason Part 6, Jason Lives, for the first time the night before we shot Vengeance. We started shooting Vengeance 1. So
What
I didn't,
the hell?
I didn't know who CJ Graham was.
You,
I didn't
you
know
never,
any
you
of that
get,
stuff.
you've never watched Friday the 13th?
I had never watched it before that point.
Oh my
But-
God.
And I was the one who was recreating the camera moves on some of those, like from Part 1 shots. So I
Right.
had to go through and watch all those things. So as I went, I would film during the day, and we'd film like 15, 16 hours. Then I'd go home and I'd go watch some of these classic Jason films, which was very interesting because now I understood the script a little bit better and whatnot. But, I think we've done 3 feature films with Jason in it. I've watched all of the movies. I've worked on the documentary, The Heart of Darkness, with Adam Marcus and stuff like that. I've done lots of stuff. I know a lot of the cast. So I can 100% say I'm a Jason fan now. And my daughter is super into horror films. And so, these new Evil Dead movies were so fun to watch with her. Hereditary, I watched with her for the first time. Lots of nude people in that. I didn't remember that. But she's 14.
Add it to my list. Oh.
She's 14, but it's so fun to watch with her. And so I definitely have a newfound love of horror. But more than anything, it's actually of making horror. It's one of my favorite genres to make, for sure.
It's always fun to hear people talk about how they put a horror movie together, the kills, the special effects. I mean, Jason told us some stuff about the special effects that he did. He made up some of them they had to buy, but when it came to you, what was your preparation altogether for those movies? When you're doing a movie, what's your prep?
Well, number one, I want to be able to capture the director's vision, right? So if I'm doing Roseblood and Peter Anthony says, hey, we're going to shoot this like an old 80s, Stallone movie or Commando or whatever, I have to keep that in mind so that they are happy. Ultimately, that's who I answer to, and that's what gives me the most joy, is that the director is happy when I'm the director of photography. With Bloodlines, it was a little bit different because Jason had come to me and he said, "Hey, would you want to direct this with me?" And I personally, with my brand, the Cody Newton brand and Newton to Newton Productions, I don't want to be an R-rated brand. So I said, "Hey, I will co-direct this with you, and anytime you're in the costume, I'll 100% take over, and I will block out the scenes. I'll do everything, but I just won't put my name on there as a director because I want to just stay in that PG-13 world. I feel like there's a bigger audience with family." And this 259 movie, it is a PG-13, even though it'll push PG-13 because it deals with very scary things and elements, but there's not a whole, not a big blood count, not a big body count or anything like that, but it should still scare quite a bit. But with Bloodlines, I could make a little bit more decisions of what I wanted to do. And I don't know if you noticed, but I kind of went a little bit more Sam Raimi because I love the Evil Dead movies. And what he did with those, combining comedy and the gore, just made it such a treat. And so there's a little bit of the Sam Raimi feel in there with how I shot it. Even kind of like a J.J. Abrams feel too, just because I wanted to give Jason, because it's supposed to be supernatural. It's supposed to be bigger than what, and with a lot of these fan films, you get, movies that are shot on DSLRs with photo lenses and things like that. I wanted to make sure we shot anamorphic, and we shot it in a way that people couldn't just go out and do it on their phones. So, and I really like the look of Vengeance too. People have given me great feedback, and it's one of my favorite movies I've ever worked on.
I love both of them. I love Rose Blood. They're all good. Hell, right now I sent Fall of Camp Blood.
Oh yeah.
I just got that one in. I think it was Monday, and I sent it out to Peter because I asked Peter to see if he would sign it, and he sent me Rose Blood back with it.
Oh, awesome.
And then I've already bought Vengeance 1 and 2. I'm just waiting to get them now.
Yeah, well, people don't understand. It's like editing a whole different movie when you have to do those special features.
Oh yeah.
And there's no money to pay these people, so it's worth the wait, though.
And we heard that the budget on the films was not very high, and we get it. But you guys adapt and overcome. Like you guys made prosthetics. You guys made blood. You guys, you did everything you could to save cost where you could do it, right? So you still created a great film.
Yeah, and the secret talent. So the secret talent with all of this, people, and I'm going to say the four, Sean Lutz's number one is kind of at the heart of all of this, where he's able to just facilitate everyone and get everyone together and get them excited and help support everyone doing everything. So he's the backbone to everyone's talent here. If we couldn't do it if we didn't have him. But Jason Brooks is so talented in a way that you kind of, don't know it sometimes. But his talent with all of the special effects and everything, it was an untapped gold mine, essentially. When we started Vengeance 1, he kind of learned a little bit of it. But you can kind of see it in Vengeance 2, where he really went all out. And you could see 30 some kills or something that he manufactured and did with his team. So that's great. And then Peter's marketing genius, and his attention to detail and his creativity is also pretty important. And then I'm kind of the same as Jason, where I'm creative, but I'm done in a cinematic way. So blocking scenes, working with actors, for sure, behind the camera, all those different things. So it kind of turned out to be just a wonderful team. And that's why we have, Sean Lutzis and Jason Brooks back on 259, because they have intangibles that are so amazing. And Peter's asking about my dance moves.
I did see him dance on one of his movies already. Yeah.
That's right.
No daddy daughter dance. It's quite interesting watching him dance.
Yeah.
But yeah, if nobody's seen that, just go on YouTube and type in no daddy daughter. Yeah.
No daddy daughter dance. It's not a horror movie, though. I'll tell you that right now. If you got, I had to go watch it because I went on IMDb
And I was like, okay, I want to see what movies you did. And they had this cinematic trailer going across about 2 minutes long, and that kept popping up, and I'm like, son of a bitch, now I gotta go watch it.
Yeah, it's a beautiful little film. If anybody does watch it, I'd love to, get a comment or feedback on it. No Daddy Dodo Dance. But Peter's asked about my dance moves because we were working 16 to 21-hour days, and it would get cold at times because of shooting in March in Seattle or whatnot, and that's an easy way for me to stay warm. Is I dance, and I like to dance.
Danced around a lot.
Yeah, I enjoy it. It's actually how I fell in love with my wife. We went out salsa dancing in Puerto Rico, and just I didn't want to dance with anybody else.
So is that your heritage? Are you Puerto Rican? Mexican?
No, I'm actually Filipino.
Filipino.
My grandpa's Filipino, so that's kind of the ethnicity that you'll see. But I'm the rest of me is white.
Hey.
Do you speak Tagalog?
I don't. I speak Spanish. I'm full
wow.
Spanish speaker.
Wow.
Hey,
good for
Brian.
you.
Brian.
Yeah.
Everybody is a Heinz 57. There is
no,
no
he actually has a bloodline though. Like we're Heinz 57s. He actually has a full-fledged background and blood background there. So
I know where my bloodline started. I just don't know anything else.
So you have kids. How many kids do you got? 2?
So I have 2 kids. One's 14-year-old. Her name's Tylin. She's very spunky, and she's actually going to be in a short film that we release very soon, within the next week or 2, called Metal Kingdom, starring Jason Brooks as Eros, the android. He plays a robot in it.
Oh, that should be interesting.
Yeah, that's a fun little film. You guys should really enjoy that one. And my son, who is 17 now, he's a little Puerto Rican Filipino mix, but he plays the bad robot in it, and he fights Jason Brooks. And so if you go to my YouTube channel, you just look up Cody Newton, you'll see the trailer from Metal Kingdom.
Oh, I subscribe to it.
That's a 30-minute short that comes out here soon, and we would like to make that into a feature after we're done with a few features this year. Just a sci-fi family Spielberg type short or feature film is what we'd love to do. But Jason really did some great work as a robot and with the costumes in that one.
I'm trying to picture Jason as a robot. I mean, he did play a killer, so why not?
Listen, you give the man a role. You give the man a role. He turns it into his role. That's it.
Yeah. Yes, very much so. He does.
He does. He transforms, and that's the thing. It's in Metal Kingdom. What I really like about it is you see the character. You don't sit back and just look at Jason Brooks, and that he's just able to capture those characters like that, and he just gets into them so well. He's a chameleon of sorts.
Very cool.
Oh yeah.
We got a shout out here a second ago. It says, "Hey, beautiful people," and that was from Robert Palmer from the Broken System podcast. And Robert, if you are still on here, I just want to point out over here on Mark's underneath Mark's name, he does have hashtag justice for DJ Ficky. If you guys are not listening to his podcast, guys, go check out the Broken System podcast. You'll want to listen to it after you listen to the first episode.
No doubt. He left me on a cliffhanger again. Damn him. He knows how to. Yes, he can keep that. He keeps you coming in for more for that podcast. But I'm telling you, it's well worth it.
Cody, I'll tell you, if you're looking for a story, if you're looking for something to turn into a movie, that would probably be. Yeah. It's not a horror. It's not. It's literally a drama. There is so much going on in this in the DJ Ficky case. It makes you want to go, why has nobody been arrested? Like,
interesting.
Get a chance.
If you listen to any podcasts or anything like that, just stick it in your ear and just go do whatever and just listen to it. Or turn it on the radio in the car. I mean, it's
15 minutes.
Awesome.
15 minutes. I was hooked.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, 15 minutes. I was like ready to go to the next one. I was like, what happens now?
Yeah.
So, all right. So you are from?
I am from Boise, Idaho.
Idaho. So how many seasons do you have? Because we get 2, like I told you before.
We definitely have. So what I love about Boise is we have 4 seasons, so we can snowboard in the winter and we can golf in the summer. But you can also golf year round. So I enjoy to golf with my family, and it's nice here. There's the snow. It snows sometimes, but it doesn't stay.
So you like to golf? Are you good at golf?
I mean, it depends what you think is good. I usually shoot low 80s, high 70s. If that means
Listen,
anything to you.
I am good at drinking beer. So if you ever come to Florida and you want to go hang out with me on a golf course, I'll drive the golf cart. I'll let you.
No, hold on. No. I have to drive the golf cart. I don't drink
Mark's
either. I can't golf and I can't drink. So, I'll be the driver. You can drink and get drunk.
So Mark will be our designated caddy, and he just won't hand us any golf clubs because he won't. He'll sit in the golf cart the whole time. I'm good with it. Let's go.
Let's do it.
But Florida, you're right. Florida has some really great golf courses, and some really great alligators.
Hold on, Brian.
Grab the ball.
You are wrong about one thing. Florida has more than 2 seasons. It has, not as hot, and then hurricane season.
Oh, there you go.
So it's 3.
We got 3 seasons. There you go. The 4 seasons of Florida are something. The mosquitoes come out at some point.
That's year round. No-see-ums. Those are worse.
There you go. So we got these bugs here. They're called no-see-ums because they just bite the crap out of you.
And you don't see them.
They're kind of like a mosquito. They're really, really tiny. I don't know if you guys have those up there in the woods. Nothing like that.
See?
Nothing like that.
Now, another reason why I want out of freaking Florida.
Cody, you appear to be young. You have a 17-year-old. I just had a birthday, and I'm old as hell. How old are you?
Well, it helps. I have this flowing hair. I got that Asian skin. I'm in my 40s, so I'm not that young, but I'm not that old either. I'm right in the prime. I feel like.
Okay, so you're in your prime. My back hurts all the time, and we're all in our 40s. You, me, and Mark. So just wait. It's coming.
Hey, but I have a fake hip.
Oh. So Mark is doing this podcast. Mark picked you for this show. Mark absolutely said, I got to have Cody. I really want to dive in and learn more about him and what he's doing. And Mark is in severe pain right now, I think.
Oh shit, that hurts my back.
So I'm the only man who ducks an age question. What are you talking about? Peter may not know this, but in show business, you never reveal your age. I'm sorry. All you have to say, it's literally illegal
I'm in my 40s.
To ask somebody's age, but you can say, I'm over 18. That's all you have to say.
Perfect. I'm over 21. I'm able to have a nice beverage and stuff. So.
There you go.
So outside of so let me ask you, Newton. I see Newton and Newton Productions.
Yep.
Newton Productions. I'm sorry. How did you come up with that? Is that you and your wife?
No, my wife doesn't have anything to do with anything that I do. She supports me, and that's about it. She's happy about me doing my stuff, but she's not involved until we start traveling cool places and things like that. But
she is.
Yeah. Newton to Newton Productions actually comes from in college. I had a nephew who was my age. We went to college and got our MBAs together. And we started to make films about a ninja and a cowboy. I played a ninja and he played the cowboy, and it was called The Adventures of Ninja Cowboy. Just real classy stuff. But we started the production company together just because it was like Stockton to Malone. It's a kind of basketball term. So Newton to Newton is, passing a basketball to each other. And that's where it came from, Newton to Newton Productions. But his name's Brian. He lives in Kansas City, and he doesn't do as much with us anymore. And so now I kind of describe Newton to Newton as it's what we make is what we pass down to our kids. And so it's Newton to Newton, and I don't make anything that I can't show to my kids. And so that's why I keep everything PG-13.
Smart.
We try for the most part, but I'm gonna tell you, I cuss like a sailor because I was one. So If you don't want to let the kids watch the podcast, listen to the podcast, that's fine with me.
Oh,
it's just listen. We have 2 viewers, and it's our mom and
no,
dad.
We got 6 right now. Hey, we got 6.
It's 6. Mine. So is your mom and dad watching right now? I'm just.
I hope not. Just kidding.
Oh man. Outside of being a director,
what do you do for fun?
What do you do for fun?
So, I mean, I love to travel. I'm getting back into golf because I'm doing a tournament, a family tournament out in Missouri, and I need to get better. But so most of the time I am just filmmaking, though. Even when I'm sitting in the car alone, I'm sitting there daydreaming about what my characters are doing and things like that. It's just an all-encompassing thing. I like to do sports. I like to travel. My wife's from Puerto Rico, so we try and go there every year. I love the beach. I love exploring and things like that. And Cody has heard me swear 70% of the time for that. That is very true. And you know what? I don't care if other people swear, but I've actually never swore in my life. So I just haven't crossed that threshold, so I don't do it. But for the most part, that's all I do. And 5 years ago is when I went professional in filmmaking, but I started my own business buying and selling iPhones for a living and did like 2.2 million in sales from my garage in 2015. Cow. We were doing quite a bit. And so
non-taxable.
I was taxed a lot.
Oh.
And honestly, what happened was I was taxed so much. I was like, man, I don't have any write-offs because all I'm doing is just making money. I need to have some write-offs. And so my kids watched those old Ninja Cowboy movies and they were like, Dad, we want to make a movie. They were like 8 and 10 at that point. And I was like, man, I haven't thought about making movies in a long time. This should be a lot of fun. So I dumped like $20,000 into a feature film that I made with my kids, and we called it Ninja Cowboy Viking. Me and my nephew's kids all just got together, shot for 10 days, and made a feature film. And I learned how to edit. I learned how to do all kinds of stuff, kind of professionally. But the fun part was when we finished it, it was like, well, what are we going to do with this movie? It's kind of a fun, stupid movie for kids. And so we decided to raise money for Make-A-Wish, and we showed it in 3 different states, in Kansas, Wyoming, and Idaho, and raised $25,000 for Make-A-Wish. With that dumb little, I mean, I shot it on my cell phone. It was, but I spent about 1,000 hours making that movie, and then raised $25,000 for Make-A-Wish. And I was like, well, this is what I need to do forever. This is my career, and I have to put everything towards that. And so ever since then, I've just put everything towards filmmaking, and hopefully you can kind of tell as we're making these films, and you guys are hopefully liking them.
So yeah, I was going to say that. I was like, when I was reading your thing on there on the IMDb or whatever how you say it, I was like, I was reading it and it said Make-A-Wish. You did a movie for, and gave that. I was like, oh shit, I was going to bring that up, but you already beat me to the point. So
sorry.
Okay. No. I like that though.
Listen, we want to ask less questions. We just want to talk about stuff. Let me ask you, gas or electric? What kind of car do you drive?
Oh, there's no way I can afford an electric car. Are you kidding me? Like, so people are like, oh, you'll save money on gas, but guys, I spent $2,000 on a Honda Odyssey. I shouldn't say this. I shouldn't even say this. I just lost you 5 followers.
You've got a minivan?
I have a minivan, but it has a tow package on it. I have a 6x12 trailer that I carry all of my gear. I have like $100,000 in just film gear, but I just do not spend money on cars for some reason.
You got a minivan. I was thinking maybe you were like DJing at night. So
yeah, right. Nobody wants me to DJ. I'd have to have some tattoos on me at least.
Oh man, Peter's got a lot of it. I told you Peter was going to be on tonight.
He's all about supporting. I mean, I love it.
Oh, Peter's very supportive. I'll tell you that.
He said, "I'm better than him at everything. I'm not better at horror anything. I'll tell you that."
Now he'd probably lose in a trivia contest for horror.
Yeah, he would lose.
No,
you would.
Oh, I would.
You would have to lose because you just don't know the genre.
I don't. I haven't watched Nightmare on Elm Street. I've watched the Halloween trilogy.
Please watch
at the
it.
end.
Please watch Friday the 13th. Please watch A Nightmare on Elm Street. Please.
Well, I need to. But then when's it stop? You know, I gotta watch all the Chuckies.
The
Chuckies,
Chuckies as they went on until the TV series got really stupid, even worse than some of the other ones. The TV series helped bring it back to life more. That's why I can't wait until Camp Crystal Lake comes out, the TV series on Peacock. Everybody, I can't wait for that. I can't wait for.
What's the one horror that you think I haven't seen that I have to watch?
You have to watch Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah,
okay.
Nightmare.
Which one though? Like all of them?
No, you just got to start with one because
start with one. You don't. Okay,
you don't have to continue on.
The one in 2010, I think.
Terrible.
terrible.
Where Robert Englund is not Freddy Krueger.
Yeah.
When
just
Robert
go
Englund
until
stops being Freddy Krueger. Stop watching it.
Yeah. So you're gonna have to go until the New Nightmare.
Okay.
And then after the New Nightmare, you can stop.
Somebody said Halloween 1978. I watched that one.
He watched all.
Did that one.
Steven, that's our friend Steven Jarvis from Steven Jarvis and Friends podcast.
Okay.
That's one of his favorite movies. But Cody already said that he watched all the Halloweens. I don't think.
No, I watched the last three.
Oh, the last three?
No, hell no. You got to
no.
But I watched the original one. I watched the 1978. I wanted to see. Well, more than anything, I mean, I don't just watch movies. I study movies. And so for me to sit back and say, how did they make this on $300,000? Even just that first tracking shot, that oneer, it tells such a story. It's such a beautiful shot. But then I struggle with other things like, hey, you think you just killed a killer? Let's leave the knife back by them and leave him. You know, it just.
Yeah, there's certain things in movies.
Finish him.
Like
Scream.
Scream. Yeah, the series Scream. If you haven't watched that, I was going to bring something up from the short little film, the No Daddy Daughter Dance.
Yeah.
You know, the only thing that I seen that you didn't do right, only thing, you didn't close the door when you came in.
Oh.
You left it open.
That's true. I left it open. I mean, our heating bill is going to be up, or our air conditioning bill is going to be out the roof. Jeez.
So people could come in and have a party.
Wait, was there a reason for that, or was it done intentionally?
So I was carrying my daughter in.
Okay.
The scene is I carry my daughter in, and I start to kind of reflect on our lives, and I only say one line, and it kind of triggers me into crying. And I just say, "Hey, you're getting so big," and so when I walked in that door, I was sitting there crying, thinking about all those things, and I did not close the door behind me.
Yeah, that was the only thing. I was like,
I'm not a dad if I'm not closing the door behind me. You know?
I'm like, man, I'm going to bring that up.
Mark's over here trying to be meticulous.
Okay, first off, I will not tell you to watch Jeepers Creepers. I mean, the first one you could watch. It's really good. It was done here in Denellen, Florida, right on the road by the high school. But I will not tell you to watch the other ones in that series because they go offline. They don't make sense. And the second one makes a little bit of sense.
So typically,
the third one,
here's the thing: if you're gonna watch any horror movie, just watch the first one
and
see if you literally. Because if you're gonna watch it, I want to know if it was worth you watching the second one.
Nightmare on Elm Street. You watch the first one; it's great. The second one, it goes down. I did not care for that one at all. But after that, they do different trends of it. Freddy gets more, has more jokes, stuff like that. Halloween, as it goes on, you'll notice it right off the bat. The mask that they use is not the same one. They messed it up a lot.
Yeah, I did not watch the second one. I did watch. That's kind of strange because Evil Dead and Evil Dead 2. I mean, Evil Dead 2 is rocking. I love that movie.
I have to admit, I've never watched any of the Evil Deads.
Oh, well. Mark, you're shame. I'm
flicking out.
There is a series on, I think it's Hulu, and it's Evil Dead.
Yes, I'm more I know that, but I never got into zombies. I never watched. Everybody watched Walking Dead. I never wanted to watch it. It was not my thing.
So here was what the crazy part was. Like, before I even heard of Evil Dead, there was always this story about, there's this evil book called the Necronomicon, and I was like, I've never, whatever. And then all of a sudden this movie comes out, and I swore I dreamt some of this stuff, and I was like, what the hell just happened? And why is that book in my dream, from my dream, in this movie? You know what I mean? Like, when I was a little kid, our like my aunt and uncle and my cousins would, there's this evil book, the Necronomicon, and if you open it up, if you get a chance to read it, that's it, you're going to turn into a zombie. No. And then all of a sudden this movie comes out, and I think the very first one came out in early 80s, and I was literally 5 or 6 years old.
Wow.
When this movie came out, I think.
I guess I'm gonna have to sit down and watch the damn thing.
Yeah, you do.
I need the prop. The next Comic-Con book. I need the Book of the Dead. I need to have that for my my toys.
The scariest movie by far that I've ever seen, and I was little when we watched it, and we used to go to the drive-in. My uncle had like an old pickup truck. He'd throw us in the back, throw a blanket over us, and say, "Don't move." Well, because you pay them per person as you go in the drive-thru.
Oh, that's right.
People used to go in. We used to sneak, or my mom used to put some people in the trunk, and
So the scariest movie I ever watched was, in fact, the very first Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Scared the bejesus out of me.
I haven't watched that one.
The first one's good. The first one's good. The second one, they just get, sometimes they have the wrong path that they go down. And
well, it's hard to capture the magic of the first one, I think, a lot of the times, because you've already seen it. What are you going to do next?
Well, in Vengeance 2, they did good there.
Isn't that crazy? Well,
yes.
There's a little secret to that. With the first Vengeance, the set was a little troubling. It was a little hard because there was alcohol involved, lots of people drinking and things like that. And so I don't think people were as focused as they should have been, especially making such a big film and having so many volunteers. So with the second one, when they asked me to come aboard, I was like 100%, because I kind of wanted a redo. I wanted to make sure that we did it right. And so this one we took so professionally, and everyone involved was just, peaking all at the same moment. And I think that's why Vengeance 2 came out better, because it was the film that Vengeance 1 was supposed to be, but we were able to do it this time. Kind of like Evil Dead and Evil Dead 2.
Yeah, Mark.
You haven't seen it.
Oh, go watch them.
Hey, at least I can shame him for not watching a horror film.
Yes,
I haven't watched horror franchises.
Yeah, there's certain ones that, like when I was younger, I've said this plenty of times, Nightmare on Elm Street was my movie I would never watch again. Alone. Well, I lived on Elm Street in Crystal River. Geez. So, come on. You're 7 years old, and I'm watching it for the first time, and oh my God, what the hell? I live on Elm Street, man. He's going to come get me.
It makes sense.
I
the
wouldn't
thing
watch.
is growing up where you grow up, though. Like, so the little county that we live in, there was literally like the roads that we used to live on were dirt roads, and then all of a sudden they became paved roads.
Yeah.
Well, on those dirt roads, they were wooded. Like our lots that we live on, the acreage that we have, there was nothing but woods. So you would walk outside of your house, the back porch light is on, but I'm telling you, if you walk 10 feet out, you are in pitch black. There is nothing out there that's going to save you.
Your house was one of the ones that we could do that with.
Scared the bejesus out of you. I'm telling you. I was like, hey, I need you to come over to my house because I'm home alone this weekend. Mark's like, I don't want to come over to your house. Why don't you come over to my house? I'm like, yeah, no. But
so recently, and nobody knows this. This is an exclusive, but recently what happened to us, and this is some of the weird stuff that's been happening since I've been thinking about demons, but we have Facebook groups, obviously, and there's an Idaho film Facebook group, and somebody was asking for short films to put on a Blu-ray to raise money for a food bank drive or something like that. And I had said, hey, I have some short films. I wouldn't mind putting something on there. I like the nonprofit thing. I like being able to use my creativity and stuff to be able to benefit other people. But I started to look on his Facebook, and he had some weird stuff on there. And a lot of us have weird stuff on there, especially with all our horror fans and stuff. But he was talking about wanting to kill himself if he didn't get his way or something like that. And it was just a little off. And so I unfriended him, and I didn't think it was in my best interest. So one of these days I woke up and he had texted me, or he had messaged me and said, I unfriended him, and I didn't think it was in my best interest.
Yeah, sorry.
So one of these days I woke up and
sorry
he
about
texted
that.
me. It's okay. Are we good now?
Yeah, sorry.
So I woke up and he texted me and he said, hey, why did you ghost me, man? That's not cool. You could have done it so many different ways. You could have just told me, I'm not interested. Why did you just unfriend me? And I was working all night that night, so I didn't respond for a little bit. Next thing you know, he got on the Facebook group and started saying, hey, here's different answers of what Cody Newton could have done, what you could do instead of, being like Cody Newton. And I was like, okay, this is a little odd. But then I responded to him and I said, hey, sorry, I've been sleeping all night. This doesn't seem like the project for me because I saw some questionable things and I just can't be associated with someone like that. And he started to call me. He called me on Facebook Messenger every 10 seconds.
What?
And he got my phone number off the internet, and he started to call me every 10 seconds. And I had to figure out how to block a private number because he was calling for a private number. He did that for 4 hours. I had a meeting with someone. I had to go. I'm DPing a short for somebody else. And I had a meeting with someone. And when I got to that meeting, everyone starts texting me. And he had gotten on the Facebook groups and he had put a swastika on my forehead. And he had written, Cody is a racist. He's texted me when he found out I was Jewish. He quit the project, or he quit doing this stuff. And I was like, okay, this is just super odd. And then eventually he kind of made a meme, and it was that picture of me with the swastika on my forehead. And he says, hey, I'm Cody Newton. I'm a neo-racist, or I'm a neo-Nazi. I'm a wife beater, and I rape little boys. Here's my phone number. Tell me your deepest thoughts. And he put my phone number in there.
No.
Oh,
I'm like,
wow.
what is going on here? And this is just so out of the blue. And everyone who knows me defended me on these Facebook groups. Eventually, they took it down. But next thing I know, I have this meme, or this image of me with a swastika on my head with my number and all this stuff on it. So it wasn't the best thing, but more than anything, I sat there and I was like, okay, shoot, I got to tell my family about this. We kind of have to watch the door. And so I put a huge knife by the door. I put golf clubs around. I think I have one around here, just in case someone knocks on the door or I see someone. I just have to be ready. And so that kind of, it was the essence. But the funny thing is, learning from all of this, it's just that essence of the unknown of what somebody's going to do that I experienced actual fear. And it was being able to protect my whole family. And that anxiety is what brought that fear to me. And so I was writing 259 at the time, and I used a lot of those feelings and conveyed them into the characters in the movie. I guess obviously nothing has happened. And I believe this guy is very mentally ill, and he had a psychotic episode and whatnot. And I haven't even had time to call the cops. I haven't seen him anywhere. He pops up on my Instagram every couple days, and he talks about how my wife is. I'm not going to talk about that stuff, but if I do see him in person, I will be using my golf clubs.
So I was going to ask. So through Facebook is where you met the guy.
Yep.
Right. You've never met him in person at all.
No.
Have you done his background on his like profile stuff and just kind of like see who he's associated with?
Him a little bit.
Yeah, I stalked him just a little bit. I know enough to know that is not his real name. And so I was trying to find out his real name. And I think he had done stuff to people in 2018, and he was blocked from all the groups then. And then he switched his account, and now essentially he was back. But it was just strange that I was targeted so much by this random guy for unfriending him, essentially.
You may want to reach out to LaDonna from Deep Dark Secrets. LaDonna has a podcast. It's called Deep Dark Secrets. It's also on Spotify, and you can find it here on Deluxe Edition Network. That might be a story that she might want to follow up and look into.
Interesting.
It's also the podcast of the month.
It is. Yeah, it is the podcast of the month.
Awesome.
So
Deep Dark Secrets, huh?
Yeah, Deep Dark Secrets. It's literally about it's about interweb harassment, killings, that kind of stuff. Like just the craziest thing that you could think of around the dark web, around the web, really.
Yeah.
I don't even want to say dark web, the web. So I mean, people are crazy, bro. I mean, I don't even know.
You know, in Idaho, there's not too many crazy people. People are usually, you know, pretty nice here. But I think it felt better when I found out that other people had been harassed in 2018 because nothing happened to them. You know, it's all talk, and I think he's just looking for a reaction. But at the same time, I mean, I kind of protecting the families is number one.
Yeah, that's wild.
So that's
I mean,
really the scary part.
Nobody wants that. I mean, you know, a joke is a joke. That I feel like is taking it too far. You know, that's stalking. Yeah, and that's got to have some repercussions. Yeah. You know, it would be nice to know who that person is, so that, you know, other people may want to stalk him.
Yeah, maybe.
Listen, I joke with people at work all the time. Like, we got a guy that's got this crazy looking beard and crazy curly hair, and I asked him the other day, I said, so are you a serial killer or a murderer, or is there a difference? And he looked at me and he was like, yeah, what is the difference? And I was like, I don't know, you tell me.
So isn't murder one time, serial killers multiple?
Maybe that's what it is.
Listen, that's it.
What if I murder like 3 people? Then it's like, am I a serial killer at that point? Or does there have to be something tied to, listen, I killed them because they wore a green shirt.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, oh man, the things we come up with here on this show. Goodness. All right. So you've got 259, that project.
Yep.
Is that completed? Is that done, ready to roll, or is it
so we're in full on pre-production. I have about 20 more pages to write in the script, and then we're going fully on. We shoot the end of June and then the end of July. So, and hopefully we will be releasing in Halloween.
Where will we be able to catch that? Are we going to catch that on YouTube?
I'm pretty sure you're going to be able to find it in any transactional VOD, like Amazon, YouTube, payable YouTube, or probably Tubi even. It just depends. We're just looking for somewhat of a residual income to be able to make our money back, and hopefully get hired for more projects. That's kind of the goal of this one.
Do you guys have sponsors? You got people backing you on this project?
Yeah, we have our own personal backers, so we haven't done an Indiegogo. Although I will be doing more Indiegogos, just because there's so many people who want to be in movies and want to be a part of movies. For this one, it just didn't seem right because we had the investors already, and I didn't want to compromise any of the actors. You know, a lot of people will buy an acting role and then come on, and sometimes it's not the right fit. This one, I wanted to keep it close and whatnot, and I didn't have to go for the Indiegogo money. But the next movie that I'm making in November is about a hitman who goes to a hit down in a small town in Oklahoma. And
should have sent him down here to Florida.
That's right.
We will whoop his ass.
But he rekindles a relationship with a girl he met a long time ago, and then finds out she's the hit. That's essentially what it is. It's Grosse Pointe Blank style, but more action oriented, kind of like True Lies, because I love True Lies. But you know what? When he turns the table, a lot of hitmen are going to come after him. So I'm like, oh, we got to populate all these hitmen. Mm-hmm. And Indiegogo is the perfect place to do that. That would be a lot of fun.
True Lies. Did you see that there's a series now?
Oh, I want to ignore that series exists.
Yes.
Really? Yeah, I tried episode 1, and I was just like, okay.
No, I had no interest in the main characters.
I don't really care for shows that go into being, you know, they're movies and then they're trying to make them into a series. That just doesn't make sense. especially if you're not having the same actors and actresses in it, stuff like that.
Yeah, but you did Child's Play. You've done
Child's Play had the same people though.
You're gonna
Big
watch
difference.
Fall of Camp Blood.
Because it's about the same people. They're doing it the right way compared to others.
Okay.
But Peter also said that Cody has Laugh coming out.
Oh, I didn't read that. Yeah, so I am shooting Laugh. I'm the director of photography on that one. That's Peter's baby. That's the one.
Yeah, he told us he gave us a little.
His heart in.
Yeah, he gave us a little bit of a little thing about it when he was on, and then Jason told us a little bit about Laugh, and then that was
it. It's your turn.
Yeah, I can't wait to see the trailer for it. What they've said about it looks good, so I'm ready.
I mean, I have a lot of challenges as far as coming as a cinematographer on it, which I'm excited for because Peter has, now that he's made his first film, he kind of knows what we're doing. And so going to the second one, it's not going to be a sophomore slump. It's going to be, a sophomore celebration more than anything, because he knows what certain shots mean and he knows all those things. So I'm really excited to be able to go after the hard stuff and tell the story the right way. Did he tell you who plays characters in that?
No.
Nope.
He has not. He did not tell us anything about that. All he said was,
he said, "I'll give you a piece," and that's all he said. He gave us a breadcrumb.
Yeah.
So we're following the breadcrumbs.
He gave us a picture, and that was it.
Okay. Yeah, and the picture looked pretty cool, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, and that one definitely should be a fun one. I mean, it's just kind of a celebration. I mean, it's just for the crew, it's just like a continuation of Roseblood. I mean, we became such a tight-knit family, and there was nothing but good vibes coming from that thing. We really celebrate what we did. So, yeah. But there is a star in that movie that I just booked today for $259, but I don't think I should tell you guys who it is.
You said that you were going to tell us who you just booked anyway, so.
Okay. Yeah, today's a good day. I'll tell you real quick. A few of the people that we have in the movie, Darcy DeMoss.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
She is an amazing, amazing person. And when I worked with her on Vengeance and directed her in her fight scenes and things like that, she was so gung-ho on doing things. Attitude is everything for me. So she just had such a pure and beautiful attitude that I definitely wanted to work with her again. So Darcy DeMoss is in 259. She plays a witch type that tries to bless the home, but she does it for money. So she's all about pageantry and things like that. So she plays a character called Lady Moreau, and that should be pretty fun. Today also, are you guys a fan of Jason Part 9?
Jason Goes to Hell?
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't a very big fan of how they went with that, but it's Jason, so I'm there.
The more I hear about the behind the scenes, because I did some of the documentary stuff with Adam Marcus, the more I hear about the behind the scenes, the more interesting the movie is. Because the first time I watched it, I was like, this is easily the worst Jason so far, other than 5. But John LeMay plays Steven in that, and John LeMay is going to be joining us on 259. He doesn't act anymore, but he said he would do it for me because I've worked with him on that documentary.
Awesome.
So super excited about John LeMay. Additionally, I worked with Terry Kaiser on Roseblood and loved his work. And so Terry Kaiser is going to come and play Ryan's father, who has, it's not a huge role, but it's pretty impactful because he's kind of the only one who understands what's going on with all these demons, and he communicates those things with them. So we have Terry Kaiser joining us, and then we have, well, I think that's all I'm going to tell you right now.
Ouch.
But the other ones have to confirm the script. I just announced, I think today we have Richie Ramone also. He was a lot of fun to work with on Bloodlines. He just has a presence about him. So we have Richie Ramone, who's playing a medium, like a clairvoyant type. But he's pretty pivotal to how they deal with the demon.
Well,
Yeah,
if you ever try to redo Child's Play or Chucky or any of those, I've got the doll for you. His name is Mark. That guy right there.
I'm taller than Chucky, damn it.
You're taller, but you have the voice. I think it's all about the voice, right?
Yeah, ouch. No,
man.
I was happy when you announced that Jason was going to be in 259, and then Sanaya was going to be in 259. My first reaction was I get to see her beat Jason's ass again.
Well,
we keep saying Sanaya.
We will see.
That's whatever.
It's Sanaya. Oh my God. They pronounce it Sanaya.
Hey,
okay.
I'm just doing it the way that I was taught.
Yeah, that's not how you pronounce that name, but it's Sanaya.
Her name is Jill. No, I'm just kidding. No, she's fantastic.
No, she is fantastic. What
and her dad is super awesome. Like I heard that this man built an entire set, like just like what was it, the chapel?
Yeah, in
and
his backyard.
And that is still they still have that. Like I think that you guys like in some of these films figure out a way to use that.
Well, we're definitely using it in 259. And there's actually some wire work because there's demon stuff, there's levitation, there's all kinds of stuff. So we're going to be doing some of that stuff in there. But he's actually building another set piece that I'm not going to reveal because it's pretty vital to where they have to try and get rid of this demon. But he's building another set piece.
Yeah,
that's pretty exciting. But Sean's creative outlet is, it is construction. It's building stuff. His eyes light up when I told him about this final set piece and showed him some pictures of what we want to do. He was bouncing off the walls trying to figure out how he could build it. And so, yeah, it's just one of those things. He just has one of those talents that it just serves everyone in everything that he does.
Perfect. All right. Well, we asked you for an hour. You gave us an hour. You want to go any longer?
Oh, that's up to you.
It's up to you. Is there anything else you want to talk about?
Okay. Let's see. Well, here's I would love to talk about horror movies just because as I'm writing a script, I have to get into the zone. And like I said, I don't just watch movies, I study movies. So I did watch a few movies recently, and I'd love to hear your reviews or just your thoughts on them. Okay.
Okay.
Number one is The Exorcist. I watched that for the first time a week ago. What do you think about The Exorcist?
The Exorcist, for me, it's a very drawn out piece of art because to get to the meat of it, it takes so long.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm telling you right now, when that girl is in that bed and she is twisting and turning and spinning and throwing up, and they are doing everything in their absolute power to maintain and to combat this demon. To me, I love that.
Okay.
But that, like I said, it was drawn out for me. Like I wanted more meat. Yeah, exactly. Mark?
I was, just altogether, it was a piece of art. One of those ones that, you didn't have to, I don't think you'd have to spend a whole lot of time telling the whole story, but the way that they did it, it climaxed all the way to that point where, you couldn't have had a better story. And then trying to redo the movie and try to make a second one to it and stuff like that. They should leave certain movies alone on making, certain ones don't need part 2s, don't need part 3s, don't need 12, 13. But right. then you got people that think that they do.
Yeah.
So what was your thought, Cody?
Well, I didn't watch it because I felt like, this is like the scariest movie ever. And, I don't know why. There's this idea that if I watched it, am I summoning something? Like what is, I didn't know exactly what. So I just never watched it. But then I knew, if it's heralded as one of the most, scary movies of all time, I have to watch it. So when I watched it, I said, this isn't a horror movie. This is a drama. Mm-hmm. And it has interesting characters and they're dealing with certain things. But anytime, like when I think I watched the Blu-ray version or something like that, when she crawls down the stairs backwards and just growls, I laughed, and it just didn't seem like it fit in that movie, right? Because a lot of the time you're laughing with the Jason films, when something happens, you're kind of happy that people are dying. This one just had so much drama to it, and I think that's what makes it such a good movie, but it's not a great horror movie to me. And it's kind of in the same veins of what we're trying to do with 259, is we're trying to make something where you're interested in the characters. You don't have to just do all the scary stuff the whole time.
Yeah.
Because if you're just stuck with that, then, you might as well just do jump scares. And nobody really just wants to watch a jump scare movie other than, 12-year-old girls.
The first time I watched that movie with my daughter, I looked at her and I said, when she's coming down the stairs with her, I said, that's what you look like every day when you're, and she just like, well, Dad. I'm like, that's what happens when you get woke up.
I was pretty fascinated because I listened to a little bit of the behind the scenes with The Exorcist also. And for them to say, hey, they had to have commercial refrigerators, air conditioners in there to keep it at negative 30 degrees for their breath during that final scene in The Exorcist. And the priest could have thermals and all kinds of things and stay warm, but Linda Blair was stuck with like nothing.
She was wearing a nightgown.
She's a 12-year-old.
Yeah.
And I'm going, oh my gosh. And she carried the movie. I mean, she was unbelievable. And anytime that she spoke, I mean, it's kind of weird to say this, but I loved that demon or whatever. I loved anything that she said, every single time.
And that voice.
I smiled. Yeah.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that stuff.
The only thing that I'll give for part 2 or whatever they're going to call it for this, she's actually going to be in it. So that's the only thing I'll give them credit for.
So they're just doing more, huh?
I think like a timeline, like what they did with Halloween. I think it is.
Oh, okay.
You do one and then jump to that one.
So that was an important one for me to watch. Poltergeist was the other one. What are your thoughts on
Poltergeist? Oh, hell. When that one came out, nobody slept with their TVs in their rooms.
Oh, yeah.
Or, and that one, just knowing that they used actual corpse for those bodies is even more.
Really?
Yes.
They used dead bodies?
Yes.
Okay.
Cadavers?
Yes, cadavers.
I mean...
it was interesting to know that. Myself, watching that was just freaking, it was amazing knowing what could happen. But that woman there, that old woman, freaked the holy hell out of me. And that guy that came up to the door, that old man, oh my God. It was one of those things.
And they weren't meant to be scary, Mark.
No, but the old man was. He's supposed to be, he was. I don't think the woman, just the way she talked, Caroline, how she did that.
She was very soft spoken. I mean,
right, but
listen, I love that lady. She can come. Yeah. Listen, we'll have some tea and crumpets together later.
Yeah, but she could be scary at times, though. But
yeah,
that poor girl, she went through so much for that movie.
Were you scared during the movie? Did you watch it, Mark? And were you on the
edge of your seat? I was not scared of the movie itself. I was more scared of the TV.
The tree, the shadow of the tree. That was the only thing.
Oh yeah.
To me, listen, I wasn't scared during the whole movie. The bedroom scene where the tree is turning into the hand, you know what I'm saying? The tree blew my mind. I was like,
what about the doll, the clown doll?
Not scared.
That didn't scare you?
No,
that didn't scare me. I thought that one was actually funny myself. The braces on his teeth, when it was like, wow, that's why I don't want braces.
So the last one here, and here's the question: Hereditary. What do you think of that film?
Which one is Hereditary?
Hereditary is the Ari Aster film. It stars Toni Collette. She, if you don't know the movie, then I
don't think I know the movie. I just need a little synopsis.
I never watched the movie.
Okay, it's kind of heralded as the scariest movie of this generation. The synopsis is: after a death in the family, a a mother tries to reconnect with that person. And so through seances and some evil, I guess, evil plotting on the backside, strange things start to happen. I don't want to ruin anything.
I don't remember the movie.
It's 2018.
I watched a thing on it. I just never watched it all the way through.
Okay.
It wasn't something I was interested in, but
yeah. So it's kind of it's A24's baby, but it's kind of it's coined elevated horror, and I wondered how those movies connected with actual horror fans, because I know that they connect with people who are not horror fans, because they're more dramas than horror. There's horrific elements in them, but and it seems like it has not connected with horror fans at all, especially if Mark hasn't watched it, like Evil Dead.
See,
Mark's a horror fan.
I have it on my list.
He wrote it down. He will watch it. I promise.
I will watch it.
And I'll watch.
Then he's gonna call me. Then he's gonna call me and be like, "Man, when he cut his hand off."
Yeah.
Cody knows what I'm talking about. Mark's over here going, "What? Wait, what?"
No, I didn't know that part. It's like there's a movie going around on TikTok. Brian sends me a message telling me, you got to watch this movie. Let me know what it. Oh, excuse me. Let me know what you think. It's going around on TikTok. They're saying it's the scariest movie.
I never watched it.
I
never watched it. I was oh my God, Mark, you got to watch this movie.
Yeah, I watched it, and it was the worst hour and a half of my life. It was so stupid. It's
You're not supposed to say that. You're supposed to say, "Oh my God, dude, you have to watch."
It is the worst anti-Semitic movie I've ever seen.
Oh.
And a girl, her family is they're white power, and they go. They have this meeting, and they go into a store afterwards because they were all going to drink and have fun, and a girl comes in, because it was a girl that raped her, that got raped by her brother, and they got into it in the store, and then the girls left, and then this other set of girls, the white supremacists, went to the house, and they did all this different weird shit, killed the girls, off camera. They raped one with a carrot.
All right,
and I'm
come on.
Wow.
To the meat and potatoes, buddy.
Wow.
There is nothing good.
You're just going through the whole movie.
No, there's nothing good about that movie.
Okay, so don't watch the movie. Don't spend my time watching the movie.
No, you watched the damn movie because you made me watch it.
All right, where's the next button? Next.
I know. I sent them the thing. I said, "Oh my God, you got to watch this. It's going around TikTok. It's going viral."
It was not. It was not horror or anything else. See, people think horror is or think nowadays stuff is horror. Like, to me, Conjuring's not horror to me. It's just,
The Conjuring is
it's a subset of horror.
Well, it is now, but
I think it's more of a religious style horror movie, right?
It's
Conjuring,
possession horror.
Horror, yeah.
Yep. Yeah. There's slasher horror, there's possession horror, there's torture porn. There's all kinds of different stuff. Mm-hmm. But they're all, if they all have something to do with the element of fear, kind of like comedy makes you laugh, fear gives you,
right.
the hairs
that stand on your neck. Yeah. The hairs that stand up on the back.
Blood and gore and stuff like that. It's just kind of classified as horror, my friend.
That's
why I said
the 80s was the horror genre.
Yeah.
I believe that was it. And they're trying to, I don't know. Okay. I'll give you one not to watch. And Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the newest one that came out, I think it was last year, the year before.
Yeah, on Netflix.
Netflix, yeah. That was, I believe, it's one of the worst ones that they ever made.
Okay, quick question: why?
It didn't capture the original.
Okay. It didn't capture. To me, it didn't capture anything to do with Leatherface. It was, they come into town. They're trying to do. They're trying to buy all this stuff up. And he stopped killing for a long time. Mm-hmm. And then his mom dies, and he starts killing again. He gets on a bus with like 30 people, and not a damn one of them gets off that bus alive. Well, no, 2 of them do.
And that's
to me,
that's a bad thing.
That's in Vengeance 2, when you guys did it on Jason, it was something different. Not get on a bus and kill them all. You know, people got to go their way, but you know, Jason caught up with them. That's one thing. But the way that they did it, it looked to me, it didn't feel like a Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie.
Okay, so that's the essence of, and this is why when I watch movies, it's not just I'm watching it, I'm studying it also. Hey,
Good.
you know, I watched something, why didn't I respond to that? So I think the why is important, but essentially it comes down to it felt like a different franchise or a different character than what you are used to. And so it's interesting, especially making these fan films. I mean, how do we make a Jason film that captures what Jason used to be in the 80s? You know, it's very hard to
you gotta
you
find
guys
that
did.
essence.
But
gotta
you
find
guys
it,
did.
right?
You guys
did.
You guys did it perfectly. 3
Yeah,
times
well,
you guys did.
So there's so Roseblood, I can kind of see like the machismo, you know, I could kind of see that, and we kind of captured that 80s like big, I mean, everyone was bald and huge in that movie apparently, which really helped, you know, but the one that kind of stood
I didn't
out
get
was,
my invite. Somebody.
yeah, that's right. I love lighting bald people. Oh my gosh. But Fall of Camp Blood was one of the ones where I didn't work on that at all. I know Riley and I know Peter, but that one was actually pretty fun to watch because it captured just the general campiness of what these horror films used to be. And they
Right.
did what they did without having to do too much, you know, something like just flinging a thing of blood across something. I mean, that happened all the time, even in Halloween 1978, you know, just fling blood somewhere. So it, for some reason, I remember watching that one going, this one did capture some of that feeling. And so I have to think, well, why did it? Is it the dialogue? Is it, you know, the bad acting? Is it there's just some parts of Fall of Camp Blood where it's like, they felt like they're acting in a completely different movie. You know, Peter's putting it 110%, and then they're just asking lines of dialogue. And it's just like, and for some reason it worked. It was so fun.
For me, it was because one, it was let's take Roseblood. You had legacy killers or legacy there, you know, characters, legacy killers. You had the one thing that some people didn't like, but I loved it, is the fact that Jason was not there the whole time. He was, you know, you could hear him, and then at the end, you know, it's different. Vengeance, you had Vengeance 2, you had a legacy character. You killed her off, but not right away.
You're not supposed to tell anybody this, Mark.
I don't care.
Supposed to tell them to go watch it.
Well, I'll tell people to go watch it later. Spoiler alert, okay? I'll put that there. But the killings, watching Jason, since we haven't had Jason on screen since 2012, 10, somewhere around there. I can't remember right now. So everybody wanted that. But you guys didn't have to put millions of dollars into a movie that you made just better than what they put on the screen and cost millions of dollars.
Yeah, I remember watching Halloween Ends, and I was like, this is so crazy, but I feel like Vengeance 2 is a better movie than Halloween Ends. And that thing cost $50 million, and we made ours for $50,000, which is unbelievable.
But Halloween Ends right there alone. People didn't like that movie because of how
because it hasn't ended though. That's the whole thing. You can
this timeline's over with. Blumhouse is not making any more for this timeline. Whoever makes up the next one will start a new timeline. But I didn't like it. I liked it, but I wish they would have put Corey in the movie sooner. You know, like in Kills, or you know, even in 2018, if they would have put Corey in it sooner, and I think it would have made it a lot more. It
was just out of left field completely. I agree with that.
All right, Cody. One quick question for you.
Okay.
One of these movies that we just discussed, one of these horror movies, Poltergeist. What was the one?
Exorcist and Hereditary.
The Exorcist, Hereditary. Out of those 3 movies, which one would you remake and turn into a horror, and how? Just give me a brief. How would you turn it into a horror movie?
I think Poltergeist probably aged a little too much. It's a little hard to watch now, especially with some of the animations that they tried to pull off. It completely takes you out of it.
Ahead
But
of their time.
it was ahead of their time, and I mean, it scared little kids. They had great use of lighting and wind and things like that, but I do feel like there is more of a story to tell there of a family dealing with a poltergeist, and that's essentially what 259 is. It's a demon, and it's working through people. It's not a closet that they're scared of.
So we're not going to get to see the scrambling of the TVs and the. Oh, look!
You don't even have that anymore. If I would
exactly, it just goes to black. It goes to a black screen now.
I would do something like They Lives. They watch a news channel or something like that, but there's something subliminal where she's talking to somebody through the news channel, or just something like that.
That'd be pretty cool.
Here's a movie that you should watch. And it's called The Entity.
The Entity. All right, writing it down.
It's a
Nightmare on Elm Street. The Entity.
Well, actually, it's,
watch Nightmare on Elm Street. You have to.
Yeah. Entity is actually a really good one. It's about it's this evil spirit that torments this family.
Awesome. 1982 or 2015?
82.
Okay, because that's very interesting, because Jason Brooks' character, it's a demon, but we actually call him the Entity because that's how he's referenced until they try and for one of the spells. It's pretty important that they find out what his name is, and so they have to try and figure out what the demon's name is, which even if you ask yourself, hey, if you're dealing with a demon, how do you figure out their name?
Yeah, they could lie to you.
The Rumpelstiltskin.
It's that type of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Entity is worth watching. It's one of those ones that it was made before its time because of the special effects, but I like it.
It says a woman is tormented and sexually molested by an invisible demon.
Oh yeah, I forgot to say that.
All right. You got to watch the Evil Dead movies.
Okay. Listen, Mark should just go on Pornhub and type in evil and watch whatever pops up.
No. I told you I'm not watching, movies about nudity anymore. That's what it used to be.
It's more educational now?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Cody, we really appreciate you coming on the show. It's been a great time. Is there anything else that we missed that you want to talk about? And then I want you to give a shout out where our fans can find you, what projects you have coming up, because 259 sounds like it's going to be great. I keep getting these snippets for it, and I'm like, dude, just hurry up and put out some kind of clip. Just give me something. I'm ready.
So if you want to, I'd love to have you follow me on YouTube, which is just Cody Newton, KODYNEW2N. There's a short film on there starring my son. We did a short proof of concept called 259, so you might have to dig a little bit for it, but it is on there, and it's just about a demon who visits him, every night at 259. Very different than what the feature film is going to be, but it was just us diving into horror and seeing what worked, especially things like sound design and whatnot. So follow me there would be number one. Instagram, it's Newton to Newton Productions. That one's pretty easy. Add me on Facebook. I love chatting with people. I love chatting with fans. More than anything, I love getting feedback because, when I watch my movies in an audience, I get feedback. I know if people are scared, if they're screaming, if it's funny, they're laughing. If you comment or anything on my films, I would love to hear what you think of it, even if it's bad, because that helps me going forward. And then from there, we don't have an Indiegogo or any groups for 259. Everything's just going to be run through my own just social pages, just because I don't want to manage one for every single movie that we do. We'll just keep everything based on those pages. So, yeah.
Very cool. Any shout outs? Family, mom, dad, brother, sister, aunt, cousin, the kids, the wife.
My mom hates that I work in horror. I'm just kidding. She doesn't quite understand it, but I love making horror, and I make the films. I direct the films that she wants to make. She wants to watch, and so I'm excited about making something that can be watched by a family and can be thought about afterwards. And so, number one, the biggest shout out would be to Sean Lutzis, who is producing 259 with me. And I like working with excited people, and Sean and Sanaya and Tammy are just so excited about the story we're going to be able to tell. They are God-loving, God-fearing people, and there are elements of God in this, and so I'm excited to be able to have that as part of my vision, and explore those different ways to get rid of a demon.
That's awesome.
I can't wait to see what you come up with.
Like I said, now I want to know. There were some kids that we had on the show just a few weeks ago. They are filming a movie, their very first feature film, called Night.
Yeah.
And this is done all through a cell phone.
Yep.
That's how they're doing it. I've told these guys that, to watch our show, if there's somebody that we have on that knows how to write, direct, whatever, that maybe it would be okay to reach out. So
yeah,
if that's the case, if you don't mind, if you want to let those guys reach out to you, they're still in high school, but they're starting off right. They're not selling drugs, stealing cars, that kind of stuff. They're
going to start soon shooting it.
I hate to say it, film is a drug. Like when you get locked in and you start to have this collective thing that you create with people, it really is something that you love.
I'd rather have my kids addicted to making films.
Well, if they can make money at it, it's a good thing. But yeah, I'd love to connect with those people. Honestly, my sets are completely open to any volunteer that wants to come join. If they want to come learn, I wouldn't be where I was if I can join other people. And so if anybody wants to come join, we're shooting in Boise in June. I won't turn anybody down, and we will give you responsibilities. You won't just be sitting there watching. We'll give you responsibilities and stuff like that. But have them connect with me. I understand what it's like to shoot a movie on a cell phone. The most important thing is sound. You just have to make sure your sound is good, or else you're going to be in editing forever. That's one thing that people just won't forgive it. I'm sorry, guys.
No, I hope they do really well with it. I mean, they have left us on the edge too, and we're waiting for some clips to come out. They put out one little clip, and it was just a hand, and I'm like, come on, dude, I need more than this. Come on.
Yeah, that was the funny thing is when they told us we're going to be doing this movie, and we're like, okay, do you have a trailer? No. Do you have a script? We did.
They were still working on it.
We decided we wanted to rewrite it all. I'm like, damn. Okay, now tell us about it.
And that's the thing, Cody. Let me ask you too, real quick. Do you think you go in guns blazing with the first script? I don't think you do.
Me personally? Yeah. No. I should show you this real quick, but just because a lot of my background really is filmmaking. That's the thing I know. Here we go. So, if I was going to do a TED Talk on anything, like Peter Anthony do horror films. He just knows all those things. But I know filmmaking. I know storytelling through a lens. And this is 259. I go in and I write what's called the story clock. And so I write out all of the scenes that I have in my head that I know I want to do. So, for example, in the first scene, I know we want to establish that there is some kind of presence in this house. It has to be a cold open. So I write that at the very beginning.
Okay.
And then
12 o'clock. Yeah,
at 12 o'clock. And then all this is filled in now. But if you don't have something filled in, all you do is if I need to fill in something right here, I go back here and reference something over there. And so it's like a setup and payoff, right? So the example is at the very beginning of the movie, and this happened in real life. The Mexican dad, they called the cops on him because they thought it was a domestic disturbance, and he came to the door and he was completely dazed and out of it. And he says, "Hey, it's just family stuff," and then he just walked outside. He didn't have any shoes on. It was snowing out. He went outside and he stood by this sewer grate, and Ryan, the character, the person, he followed him out and he said, "Hey, are you doing okay? You don't seem like you're doing too, And he looked at the sewer grate for about 5 minutes and wouldn't respond to anything. But then he just started to vomit black goo. He said it wasn't like a food. It was like a black goo. And he threw it up all over this grate. which, that in of itself, it's, well, what is going on here? It doesn't make any sense. But if that's my first scene, I know we have to reference that black goo over on this side as we're going through this stuff. So at this point in the story, the daughter, who doesn't believe in God, faces a lot of these challenges of what is going on. I mean, it's actually a scene where she is levitated. And how do you explain levitation to an atheist, as an atheist? And so she goes out and she sees the black goo, and that is it kind of triggers that this is all kind of combined, and it is something more than what she believes in. So that's what I do.
You got me.
I write all this stuff. Well, the true story will get you. I mean, I could just
no,
do
you had me at black goo.
Pretty crazy. The black goo. But I do the story circle and or the story clock, and I think about it so much. I just sit there and daydream, and I see who the characters are, and then I sit down and I vomit it. Well, I mean, we're talking about vomit
with black glue.
Yeah,
with black goo.
So I wrote this script in less than a week.
Wow.
But I had everything just festering up. I mean, I had discussions with mediums. I had discussions with people who practice witchcraft. I just had to understand that whole world for me to be able to write it. I couldn't just write it out as, hey, what Cody Newton knows. Yeah, I had to explore all those possibilities. So that's how I write.
Absolutely. Cool.
Shit.
The goo.
Yeah, I can't wait now.
It's been a great night. We appreciate you coming on the show. One more time, give a shout out where you want people to follow you, and then we'll say goodnight to you.
Newton to Newton Productions on Instagram, or Cody Newton. I mean, if you look up Newton to Newton Productions on YouTube, also, like I said, we'd love to have some feedback. I think you should also follow Real Fiction Studios FX on Instagram. That is Jason Brooks, because he is currently creating what we call the entity, or the demon. And that's pretty fun to see what he's doing there. So you should follow him also.
Hey, tonight we just followed Newton and Newton on YouTube.
Awesome. Yeah, and something like No Daddy Daughter Dance. Hey, give me some feedback. If you
Sean just says, on there. Hey, this is for you. This is from Sean.
Oh, that's very nice of Sean.
He's been watching. I just realized that he was in the comments, so I figured.
He's a busy man. Yes. Yeah. Hey, we love you, Sean. We are working on your legacy, you and the Lutz's legacy here, and we do feel like 259 is going to be our best yet. Even though, Roseblood and Bloodlines really set a high bar, but these are not fan films, and so there's not a predisposed idea of what they are supposed to be.
I like new ideas. I like stuff like that out there. So I'm happy. Yeah. I'm happy. Awesome. I can't wait to see this.
Great.
Cody, thank you so much. It's been real. We appreciate your time, sir.
Hey, thank you.
Have a good night.
Have a good night.
See ya.
Well, we have something else that we want to play. And it's because, it's just funny to us. But this was left on something to do with our last show.
Yeah, guys, we like to do an open forum show once a month. Before you get to that, follow Cody. Follow Cody. Follow these projects. There's a lot of great stuff coming. And these guys, along with Peter Anthony Productions, along with Jason Brooks, the Lucis family, I foresee really great stuff coming out of this whole thing here. So I can't wait. I mean, he talks about it just a little bit. They just give you this much, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, I want more. Freaking addicts over here. All right, so wait a minute.
Let's play it first. Let's play it first.
If you're gonna do a podcast, don't do it drunk. Joker.
Okay, so that was from last week?
Yeah, last Thursday.
We do an open forum. We invite people to come on the show and talk shit with us. That's what we do.
That's what that's for.
We have one day a month dedicated to our listeners or watchers or whatever, if you're on and you're watching, we'll send you the link and you can just click in and you can come on and just talk about whatever you want to talk about. We'll give you your 15. We give you that 15 minutes, right? But if you want to come on and talk about somebody that comes on the show, but you want to hide behind a cloak, then that's cowardless, and you should absolutely come on the show so we can make fun of you. I really hope that you do. And stop hiding behind the facade of, fake phone numbers and whatnot. Just come on the show. Come talk shit with us.
Yep.
If you have something to say to one of our guests, come talk to our guests. They're not going to tell you no at all. So
nope. I'd rather you talk shit in front of them instead of behind their backs.
Absolutely. Don't be scared. We do it. We make fun of each other. Mark's got one foot bigger than the other. Did you guys not hear this? It's great.
And Brian, I don't know how you managed to have kids with no dick.
Oh my God. I birthed those babies.
Yeah. I knew your wife had the dick in the family.
Whoa. Well, that's because you spit it out, though.
Yeah. Anyway.
We're all going to hell for this.
Yes.
So, podcast of the month. Mark, one more time.
Who gives a shit? Oh, I mean, Barrel Aged Chicks.
Check them out.
And Deep Dark Secrets.
Hey, for the Barrel Aged Chicks, if you ladies are listening, I know that you are a part of the tasting room with Barrel Aged Flicks. Mark and I are sending you this little gem right here. It's fantastic, by the way. It's drink it ice cold. It will mess you up pretty good. I don't know what I'm talking about anymore. I'm just ready to go to bed. I hope you enjoy it, and we enjoy listening to the Barrel Aged Chicks, as well as Miss LaDonna on Deep Dark Secrets.
Yeah, I guess we got to get them on here sometime.
She will scare the crap out of you.
Yes.
So, you got anything else you want to talk about? What do you got coming up for us?
Beats the hell out of me. Next week, I don't know what we got, but the week after, on June 13th, we have a wonderful guest. She's from part 2 of Friday the 13th. Do you remember her name?
It is in my phone, Mark. I'm not going to pull it up and look at it right now. I don't remember it off the top of my head. I'm sorry.
Lauren Marie Taylor.
Lauren Taylor. Yeah.
She is she plays one of the victims in part 2, and I can't wait. She also, I don't know if you remember this cartoon when we were growing up. Remember the Pound Puppies?
Yeah, I remember that.
She voiced one of them in there too.
How about that?
Yeah.
How about that?
I thought it was pretty cool.
So we're open for next week, Tuesday and Thursday.
Yep.
Holy cow, guys!
I have the rest of the freaking month booked, just not those 2 days.
We are looking for you guys to tell us who we should have on the show. If you want to come on the show and you want to talk some shit with us and you have a topic, bring it on. Let's go.
Just message one of us and say, hey, I got a topic. We'll invite you on. Oh, yeah, shit. Yep. See,
I forgot. Nope.
Yes,
I can't wait for this one. This is a Mel Brooks thing. I was actually looking forward to this.
Yes.
That's why we probably aren't doing anything next week. Is that right?
No, because that's just Saturday. It's this Saturday.
I got so many movies to watch.
I'm just going to. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, you got so. Listen. The producers you need to watch. You need to watch Spaceballs if you haven't seen it in quite some time.
I've watched Spaceballs.
Well, we are going to be on the Stephen Jarvis and Friends podcast, along with Kyle Flett, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Robert is going to join us Robert Palmer from the Broken System podcast. I believe is going to join us in that segment as well. That is going to be Saturday at, is that 8 our time?
9 our time, I believe. Steven,
if you're on here, let us know real quick. We need to make sure that everybody knows to tune in.
I think it's 9 our time.
Well, for some reason, I feel like he said 8 our time. Like he was
7
was
his
gonna-
time.
Yeah, I think so, but I don't
I
want to
have,
be wrong.
I have it in my messages.
All right, let's
I'll put it out there.
We'll put it out there. If anybody wants to come on the show and talk about some stuff, give us a shout. 9 our time, 8 p.m. his time. Okay, so, and 7 p.m. Kyle's time. So we've hit all the bases here. So Kyle can't say, well, I forgot about what time it was.
Well, Kyle can't forget. He's not Andy.
Again, speaking of Andy.
Thank you. Again, Andy, thank you for making our new intro.
Love the intro.
He's going to make us. He's going to make us 2 more. One for Breast Awareness Month in October, and one for Christmas.
Breast Awareness Month. Women have breast boobies.
Oh hell yeah!
Save the boobies.
Save the boobies. I love that shit.
All right, guys. From us here at Talking Shit, it's been real. It's been fun.
And we're out of here.